Hey, this is Dave from Beyond the Sea Bag, and in one of my episodes a while back, I mentioned that we're going to start talking about Greyman theories because I think that's a pretty relevant topic for a lot of vets. It's an easy way to move around without being fucked with, so it has more practicalities than just using it for tactical reasons or tactical missions or whatever. I mean, we're not always, some of us are always on a mission, but for the most part, in reality, we're not on a mission. We're just going to the fucking supermarket and trying to lay low and not have anybody fuck with us, right? So Greyman theory works for that as well too. And we're going to get right into it. I'm doing this episode at the last minute once again because I didn't have any inspiration. I had a hard couple weeks here, but trying to get back on track. It's Friday now. I'm going to try to get this done by Sunday and get this out by Sunday. But so I'm going to get right into it. So Greyman theory basically is your ability to move around in any situation without getting recognized, without getting fucked with, which is, you know, one of my main points of doing this in the first place. And, or, I mean, if shit hits the fan, you're going to be able to move around and, you know, not have to fight a war going through civil unrest. Or, I mean, in Buffalo here, we have snowstorms. We had one snowstorm that was pretty localized that took a couple towns down, and there was semis on the road. You know, it only lasted 3 days, but people get stupid within that amount of time. And, you know, they start taking everything off the shelf. I've seen fights in the supermarket, and that's 3 days. So I can't even imagine if you had a real shit hits the fan situation that takes the grid down for weeks or something, and you're going to have to protect your supplies. You're going to have to protect your family wherever you're staying. And the way to do that, part of the way to do that, obviously, is to be unnoticeable. So let's get right into it. There's a part of the brain that is called RAS. So, and it's reticular activating system. And what that does is recognizes anything that's out of the ordinary, that sticks out, different colors, different smells, different looks. It's almost like what we do already. We scan for threats. Right, and it's not necessary threats that it's scanning for. It's just anything out of the ordinary. For instance, this video that you're watching, you might be getting bored right now, and I'm just talking monotone, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Hey man, fuck you!" Right? Yeah, even Mayhem looked at me, right? So that's going to activate your part of your brain called the RAS, reticular activating system. I had to write that one down. But if I walk in a place with business suits and I got purple hair and a mask and looking like a weirdo, that's going to activate some shit. So there's three things that you got to know about Greyman theory in order to make this work. And I'm going to give you the overview of it, and then I'm going to tell you how you can actually practice this stuff. So the first is, well, all right, every situation is going to be different. Every place that you go is going to be different. Maybe you're walking through, and I'm not talking about going through rallies and all kinds of stupid ass shit. I avoid that crap to begin with anyway. I just don't. Whether it's on the right or left, I don't want to be part of any of that. I just want to do my own shit. No, I don't give a fuck about that anyway. So, but what's your baseline? Okay, so our baseline when we were overseas, when we're in Saudi or Kuwait or, you know, any of those countries out there, is going to be a little bit different than walking down the streets of Buffalo. Well, maybe not anymore, since, you know, all these fuckers are coming into our country now. But you know, is it during lunch hour, during business hours? You know, we have a bunch of suits walking around, or is it Friday night at 2:00 in the morning? I'm telling you one thing, freaking downtown is totally different after hours than it is during hours. All right. During the day, you're going to see business suits. You're going to see just normal people walking around. You might see the panhandler or drunk sitting on the bench or whatever, but you go there at night, you're going to see a whole hell of a lot more of that shit. during the night. You ain't going to see the suits out. You ain't going to see people walking around just looking for food and shit like that. You're going to have a different element. And that baseline can include, obviously, clothing, how they move, how they talk. You know, if you walk into a halal market, they're going to be talking differently than you're going to be walking into a, you know, regular supermarket or whatever. Best way to observe what your baseline is to observe, right? And in the Marine Corps, that was surveillance. We did surveillance. When I did a lot of stuff overseas, we were told to blend in. We didn't want to. I was part of surveillance reconnaissance intelligence group in Okinawa. And our thing, you can't wear shirts that say you're part of this, right? Because you're basically part of the intelligence community. You don't want to be known that you're part of the intelligence community, right? Because you're going to get exploited. So we had to blend in, and we didn't get a lot of instruction on how to do that. So, I think because we were in our 20s, you know, a lot of us early 20s, and we go out, and they knew we were just going to go out and party and drink anyway, and that's pretty much acting like a fucking Marine's going to act anyway. We acted, you know, got drunk and stupid, and that's how we blended in, I guess, right? And unless anybody started talking about the shit that they did, which they didn't, because we didn't give a fuck about any of that. We just wanted to party. So, but the way to figure out what your baseline is observe, surveillance, your surveillance, right? Observe, just keep an eye, know where you are, attention to detail, the whole, everything that we learned in the Marine Corps or you know, whatever branch of service you were in, that applies to this, the Greyman Theory, okay? Next, if you're going to go out, you have to remove all stimuli, all right? You can't, I mean, I'm wearing a shirt that says Marines on it. I usually wear shit that says Marines on it. I got some tattoos and stuff like that. And, you know, I mean, if I really, really want to blend in, you know, I've got regular hoodies or my regular button downs. You know, I'm pretty much dressed the same way wherever I go. So, and I don't really stand out too much unless, you know, I'm with the club and we got our cuts on and everything, then you really, but yeah, you stand out to everybody around you that's not with the club, but within the club, you kind of don't stand out, right? Because everyone's wearing the same shit. So, I mean, you got to take a look at it that way too. So your goal is to be basically neutral. Everything you wear, no identifiers, nothing that can, you know, patches, colors, smells, logos. Also, no long conversations. Somebody says hi to you, say hi, and that's about it. First of all, I don't like small talk, so I'm not going to sit around unless I'm sitting at a doctor's office waiting to see, you know, and somebody is sitting next to me and you can't get away from them. You know, most of the time I'm coming out of my fucking skin already. I just want to get up and be like, what the fuck? There's a lot of seats around here. Why do you have to sit down next to me and talk? I don't want to fucking talk. Do I look like I want to fucking talk? You know, so some people just are like that. They just want to talk, you know, and I get it, man. And I go to the VA, so they're all vets. So they're all kind of trying to cope in their own way as well, too. So, yeah, I try not to be too much of a dick. But sometimes I just don't want to fucking talk. You know, same thing when I go to my clubhouse. Sometimes I just don't want to fucking talk. And, again, you know, eye contact is a big one. The more you stare at somebody or you kind of, I know we're all accustomed to going around and scanning, doing the scanning thing, but if you look like you're doing that, you can do that. You can be tactical without looking tactical. Okay. That's the key. Be tactical without looking tactical. And if you're constantly scanning, you know, you got the, you know, the shit and everything, you're going to stand out. Even the vets are going to pick that shit out. I guarantee the vets are going to pick that shit out. Normal civilians are going to be, kind of put off by it. Like they're going to be kind of scared and worried about what you're doing, you know, especially today in today's world. So then once you have that, then you got to blend in, just like I said, whatever your baseline is, no dangerous movements, no freaking, you know, mimic the environment that you're in. Okay. So wherever you are, Just try to be a part of it. And I was at the VA yesterday, and I was doing some research on this, and I was like, well, how can I, how can you practice this stuff? And what I did was I put myself in you have the RAS, what is it? Reticular activating system, with part of your brain, right? So I want to be able to walk through a crowd or the VA or wherever you are and not notice shit. If I notice something, then I can put that in a mental note and, say, okay, I noticed that, don't do that, right? So what I did was parked my car, got out of the car, and put my stuff on. It was kind of a shitty day out anyway, so I had a hoodie on and, put my hands in my pocket. I had jeans, my normal, boots, jeans, T-shirt, and a flannel over that. So as I'm walking into the hospital, I'm just looking straight ahead, kind of maybe looking at the pavement. If I'm not, looking down, because I know we all don't like looking down, because then you miss everything, right? You miss the threats coming at you. But I'm just keeping my eyes ahead. My peripherals can pick up anything. If a threat comes, I can see it. I can see it coming, right? And then I focus. If I see somebody walking towards me or something like that, I'm going to focus my attention over here. Now, is he a threat? He's not a threat. Yes, no, okay, not a threat. Just some guy coming out of the corner. Just keep on going. And when I go through this, it's almost like you have to take yourself out of that plane of existence, I guess. I don't know I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like you're walking through, but you're in another dimension, but everything's still moving around you. You're in your own little world. And anything that I notice that takes my attention away, that just activated the RAS. So if that RAS gets activated, I know that that's something, like maybe he had a bright hat on, or maybe it was some weirdo coming out with I don't know, a whole bunch of chains, or nose rings and purple hair, or I don't know, whatever freaking weird shit you want to throw in there, right? So I try to notice that and go through like that, and okay, I'm walking through and no one's noticing me. It's almost like you separate yourself from the world that you're in, right? So you're kind of in a, like I keep on saying, different plane of existence, I guess. It's a very relaxing thing for me to do, and that gets your observation skills and your ability to just go gray, just kind of disappear, right? And then you can turn that around and do the things that work when you're walking around as well too. So I go through and no one will know you're there. No one recognizes you, just that everybody leaves you alone, which I think that's kind of why I use a lot of this Greyman Theory. Is just, man, sometimes, and I know you all know what I'm talking about, you just don't want to be fucked with at all, and I'm tired of waiting until 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the supermarket because there's not a lot of people there. I'm tired of doing shit when I should be trying to get sleep. And this is a good way to move around and remove some of the stuff that is triggering, right? And that goes back to a lot of my other episodes too. Fucking philosophy. I just tell you the truth, man, I really don't give a fuck about a lot of shit these days. And that's not because I'm having a hard time right now. It's just there's too many things out there to not give a fuck about. Because you start giving a fuck about everything, and I know I'm going into the fucking philosophy, but you start giving a fuck about everything, and that's what produces the stress in your life. And I'm trying to remove all the stress. I keep on telling everybody, man, what my goal in life is. I just want to be happy, and I just want to remove the stress. I know I'm on group sessions with a lot of vets, and a lot of it's about money, about housing, about relationships, and it's just, okay, so how many of those things can you actually take care of right now? So with money, right? Well, if you need money, you got to earn more money. do it. Shit, man. I don't know. Other than that, worry about the shit that you can worry about. It goes back to I don't know if it's a Bible saying or not. It's change the things that you can change, and fuck the things that you can't. That's me. That's not the Bible. Yeah, change the things you can change, and fuck the things that you can't. If you can take care of some stuff, take care of some stuff. But like I said, I'm going to go into a lot more detail on how to pursue the Greyman Theory, Greyman life, because there's a lot of different aspects of it. This is just about moving around in public. There's also ways to keep your footprint off, your digital footprint off the internet, your credit cards, your bills, your house, because your house is going to be your shelter. A lot of times we're talking about, we got to bug out. All right, well, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be bugging out. I'm not going to, every single little situation, I got to go to freaking West Virginia in this bunker that I have down there or something like that. Come on, man. You're going to be bugging out in place. You're going to be bugging out in your house. So make your house, I don't want to say a fortress. It's got to be a fortress, right? But don't make it look like a fortress either, right? Because then, the town's probably going to come down on you. Your neighbors are going to start questioning. Now you've gone outside that Greyman theory. Now you've become that, a red man, right? You stick out like a sore thumb. So the more you don't stand out, the less people will fuck with you, right? And I'm not telling everybody to not be who they are, because Lord already knows, man, freaking, I ride with the motorcycle club, and, I've kind of removed myself from society and in regular society. If I walk around, with my cut on and, with the club, we stand out. Everybody knows we're fucking there. So, but that's also another way to get people to leave me the fuck alone, right? So unless, they have stupid ass questions they want to ask you, which is always happens, and they're not stupid. They just want to learn about your culture, or the way of life, or whatever. And everybody thinks that's a cool shit anyway. It's been on TV and it's all over the place. And so I get it. But anyway, the Greyman theory is a way to get around, and I liken it to get around without anybody fucking with you. So that's why I like to research it, and I will be doing more episodes on this as well, like I said in that recap episode. So stay tuned, and if you like the content, please subscribe. All right.